lens was highly regarded for its excellent optical quality and compact size. Over the past few years, the market shifted toward the full-frame mirrorless cameras. But we are still getting the customer's request to make the lens like this old 10-20, which implements the excellent optical quality and compact size. So, what we have aimed to achieve with this new 16-28 was to revive the core concept of the old 10-20, but with enhanced features, enhanced performances, and overall qualities. I believe we achieved this goal. So let's review the specification of the new 16-28mm in comparison with the old 10-20. First of all, this new 16-28mm covers full frame, while the old 10-20 covered only APS-C. Second, the maximum aperture is F2.8 instead of F3.5. Third, which is the most important point, we achieved even better optical quality and mechanical build quality, which is in line with Sigma current design philosophy. Here is the size and weight of the new 16-28. The length is 100.6 mm and the maximum diameter is 77.2 mm. The weight is 450 grams. This weight and size is closer to what we expect from f4 wide-angle zoom lens rather than f2.8 wide-angle zoom lens. So I believe this weight and size is amazing considering in the f2.8 large aperture wide-angle zoom lens. We were able to avoid the bulbous front element, so we could implement the front filter design. This is very important for the landscape photographers who wants to use ND filters and circular polarizers. This is particularly important for those who need to work around with a sunrise or sunset in the frame. The thread size is 72 mm. For your information, we have several 72 mm filters, including protectors, UV filter, and circular PL. I hope you find them very useful. Another important feature of this 16-28 is the internal zoom, which means this lens does not change the length when zooming. The internal zoom keeps the center of the gravity of the lens virtually unchanged, which gives a great stability in your hand. This feature becomes even more important when you shoot video on gimbal. That's because the center of the gravity of the lens remains fairly constant when zooming in and out. The gimbal doesn't need to be rebalanced should you want to change the focal length. I think this is a very important feature for the video shooters. This lens belongs to Sigma contemporary line, where the portability is central to the design philosophy, but we never compromise with the mechanical build quality. Our mechanical designers and production engineers and quality assurance personnel work together very hard to achieve this beautifully constructed lens. This lens was designed to be very compact, but we never compromised the optical quality either. This is a diagram of the lens construction, which shows why this lens keeps such a high optical performance while keeping the lens body very compact. First of all, this lens uses 4 aspherical elements, which are shown with red lines. These 4 aspherical elements helps to keep the lens body very compact. Particularly, the 2 large diameter aspherical elements toward the front of the lens helps to achieve the very high optical performance while the lens keep compact. This lens also uses 5 FLD elements, which are shown in yellow. FLD elements has exactly the same optical performance as flow light. So with these elements, we could suppress the lateral and the longitudinal chromatic aberration, which often becomes problematic with a wide-angle lens. This is the MTF chart of this new 16-28mm. Left-hand side shows the performance at the wide end, and the right-hand side shows the performance at the tail end. As you can see, this lens performs very well from center to the periphery. This is very important optical characteristics for the landscape and architecture photography. This is an image taken with the new 16-28mm. As you can see, this image is very sharp from the center to the very corner. This picture is very sharp because we could collect the field curvature at the infinity. This is very important optical characteristics for the landscape and architecture photography. This is another picture taken with the same 16-28mm, but at the close focusing. Different from the infinity, this lens has some field curvature at the closest focus distance, but that's because we prioritize the sharpness in the center area of the frame over the field curvature. Because in the case of the close focusing, subjects often compose near the center of the frame, so we prioritize sharpness. With such characteristics of the lens, photographers can create a very unique 3D look in their works. Ghosting often becomes a problem with a wide-angle lens because the sunlight comes into the frame. But Sigma has a ghosting specialist team, so they did a great job to suppress the ghosting issues. They can simulate the ghosting even at the design stage. And if they find the possible causes of the ghosting, they advise designers to revise the design to avoid them. Actually, we revised the optical design 2 times to reduce the ghosting issues. Even if they were satisfied with the result of the simulation, they didn't stop there. Once we made a prototype and the pre-production models, they took lots of pictures to check if there is any significant ghosting in the frame. Once they find the ghosting issues, again they advise designers to revise the design to avoid such a problematic ghosting. In total, they took nearly 4,000 shots to check the ghosting in detail. Through such a process, we could achieve the very robust anti-ghosting performance lens with this new 16-28mm. This is a sample image taken with this new 16-28mm. This image includes the sunlight, but you don't see any significant ghosting. I believe this is very advantageous when you shoot in backlit condition. The lens hood is included in this lens. In order to avoid the ghosting, lens hood works very well. So please do not forget to use this lens when you use this lens. Our software engineers and electronics engineers did a great job to achieve fast, accurate, and smooth autofocusing. The autofocus on this lens is optimized not only for still photography, but also video shooting. The first photographer is Mr. Damian Lajhon. He's an outdoor sports and nature photographer, so the wide-angle zoom lens suits very well with his photographic style. Mr. Lajhon, as the outdoor photographer, he requires the gear, first of all, to be strong and robust enough to be used in a harsh environment. But also, it has to be lightweight, easy to handle, and well-balanced. He said that he can't compromise on those points. He used 16-28mm F2.8 DG DN contemporary with Sigma FPL. He said that this super compact combo perfectly fits for the rope climbing photography. Thanks to its super compact combo, he could shoot such spectacular pictures of the mountain climbers. All the images here are quite amazing. The next group of pictures are taken by Miss Meg Lukes. She is a mother of 5 children. She said that it's a beautiful chaos, but also knows it goes by very quickly. So she wants to capture not just the milestones, but in-between moments and everyday mundane affairs. The wide angle of 16-28mm F2.8 makes it perfect to capture the important moment with the children, including the beautiful surroundings of them. She also likes F2.8 large aperture as she often shoots in low light. She was also impressed by the fast and accurate autofocusing to capture the fast-moving children. All the pictures here show the beautiful life with beautiful family. They are so touching. The next group of pictures are taken by Mr. Chris Martin Shaw. He is a travel and lifestyle photographer, so overall versatility and compactness are some of the key factors when it comes to choosing the right equipment. He said that Sigma 16-28mm F2.8 DG DN Contemporary ticks all these boxes and offers very attractive focal lengths of 16-28mm. He brought this lens to his favorite place to Berlin, Germany. The idea was to shoot in a variety of complex architectural environments, both in good and poor light conditions. The dynamic architectural photography that he provided are very clean and sharp in wide variety of light conditions. They are all very impressive. The last group of pictures are taken by Mr. Frederick Merry. He is a documentary and news photographer. As a documentary photographer, he is fascinated by people, the way they live, where they live, and what moves them from day to day. With Sigma 16-28mm F2.8 DG DN Contemporary, he was so excited to shoot wide. He likes to immerse viewers within the scene so that they feel surrounded by the people he photographed. Looking at his images, his tryout turned to be very successful. So this 16-28mm helps him to create such a unique look in his works. He photographed the scenery and people in Japan, where he based since 2019. I'm very familiar with the scenery in Japan, but the dramatic scenery in his images are very impressive. These sample images are available in our website with more comments from each photographer. Please visit our website and check these beautiful sample images there. Sigma has another large aperture wide-angle zoom lens, which is 14-24mm f2.8 DG DN ART. This lens has got so many great reviews and many awards since its launch for its excellent optical quality. Since then, this lens has become a go-to lens for many serious photographers. So we have two f2.8 large aperture wide-angle zoom lens, but main difference of these two lenses are in the focal range. Especially the focal lengths at the wide end are obvious. The left image was taken at 40mm and the right image was taken at 60mm. As you can see, the difference in angle of view were obvious. So those who need the super wide angle view at 40mm, I recommend 14-24mm f2.8. But those who do not need such a super wide, but prefers a more portable and lightweight lens, I recommend 16-28mm f2.8. Sigma 14-24mm f2.8 DG DN ART goes very well with Sigma 24mm f2.8 DG DN ART because both lenses sit in our art line and share the same design philosophy. Likewise, Our 16 to 28mm F2.8 DG DN Contemporary goes very well with our 28 to 70mm F2.8 DG DN Contemporary because both lenses sit in our contemporary line and share the same design philosophy. So please check these kits carefully and choose the best one for your photographic style. The last but not least, the price of this lens is $899 or 899 euro or 749 pound. This lens will be available June 17th worldwide. Thank you very much for watching my presentation till the end. I hope this compact and lightweight ultra wide-angle lens will help you to create the new photographic experience. Thank you very much.